Guys, we have an urgent breaking news coming out. Do me a favor, share this video. Once again, thank you so much for your support. The US Commander-in-Chief warns that Joe allows super sleeper into our country and could strike at any moment. Wow. 20 plus million, right? That's the number. 20 plus million came into our sleeping giant land. Follow me with the code words. Not only that, remember Joe, he bought a whole bunch of them at nighttime. Sent them in planes. All right, so I think it was like 900,000. Joe got the airline tickets and brought them in here. All right, so Donald is sounding the alarm. He's warning that Joe, well, he let in 20 plus million, and there are super sleeper that is here already. And you had the FBI director, Cash, he's sounding the alarm. And you got the Department of Homeland Security secretary also sounding the alarm. So we're going to see what's going on here. Donald is putting an urgent message here. It's very important that Sleeping Giant citizens prepare themselves spiritually, physically, and mentally. Alright guys, before I start, for those of you that want to send us letters or prayer requests, you can send it to me, US Santiago, or my wife Jessica Santiago at 3432 US Highway 19, number 2, Holiday, Florida 34691. Alright, let's see what's going on here. Another stark warning. In a stark warning delivered aboard Air Force One on June 24, today, so this is a new one, today, 2025, the U.S. Commander-in-Chief raised alarms about the presence of Persia sleepers in the sleeping giant, which he inadvertently referred to as supercells. So this is like the big one. You know how, you got the boss and then you got the leaders. So these are the leaders, and then you have the next one, the boss, and then you have the rest. So wow. I guess Joe and those LEFT didn't learn nothing from 2001. You guys know what happened in 2001. All right, so we will never forget that. And my condolences and prayers to the families and friends that lost their loved ones. I remember Bush. He said, we're going to make sure this doesn't happen again. And what happened? They sealed everything. And, for you to get an ID, you need to bring the 6-point, which was a headache. You had to go back home and then come back to motor vehicle, grab a ticket, and stay in line for hours. All right, so they were really strict about that. Now, it's not strict anymore. I mean, everything is easy now. You could, in a certain state, you could drive a vehicle without, well, I'm not going to say too much, but it's crazy now. The statement came amid heightened tensions following the Sleeping Giant military strikes on Persia nuclear facility and accusation of cease plan violations by both Holy Land and Persia. The U.S. Commander-in-Chief attributed the alleged infiltration to the policies of his predecessor, Joe, claiming that lax border security allowed these covert operatives to enter the country. Joe was an incompetent sleeping giant commander, had no idea what he was doing. Among everything else, he let a lot of the sleepers in, a lot of them. Many from Persia. But hopefully we'll take care of them, Donald told reporters as reported by the news. And who was the border czar? I think it was Kamala? She was border czar, right? Give me a second here. Give me a second. Give me a second here, guys. Give me a second. It doesn't show. I'm like, who was Baltazar under Joe administration? You got all these. I mean, there's no name. I mean, you have Alejandro. He was Department of Homeland Security Secretary, but who was the Baltazar? Man. Again, they're saying it was Harris, but they're saying it's a fact sheet. It's not true. That goes to tell you that what a mess. Uh, what a mess. If you guys know, leave comments down below. Who is Baltazar under Joe? All right, so it says here the term sleepers appears to be a misstatement for sleeper, which are spies or bad groups, bad ones, who live unassuming lives until activated for covert missions. Well, these sleepers could be your neighbor. Hey, neighbor, hey, you want some barbecue? Yeah, man, we knew each other for how long? 15 long years. And then they get the green light. Sorry, dude, I'm going to have to do this to you and hit you with the spatula. I mean, again, those are sleepers. They pretend to be your friend. You can know them for many years. But once they get the green light, you're going to see the true colors. All right, so the leader comments follow reports that Persia had warned to unleash such cells in retaliation for the sleeping giant strikes on its nuclear site at those facility authorized by the U.S. commander on June 22nd, 2025. Now, it says here, the news reported that Persia delivered a communique to Donald via an intermediary at the G7 summit in Canada the previous week, warning of some very bad groups by sleeper if the sleeping giant strike Persia. Despite this warning, Donald proceeded with the strike, which he described as a spectacular military success that completely obliterated Persia's nuclear facility. The sleeping giant deployed B-2 bombers and bunker buster munition in the operation, escalating the ongoing conflict between the Holy Land and Persia. In response to the strike, Persia's foreign minister labeled the action outrageous and stated that Tehran reserved all option for retaliation. The sleeping giant State Department issued a worldwide caution to the Americans abroad, citing that the potential for demonstration against the sleeping giant interest, while the Department of Homeland Security warned of a heightened warning environment in the sleeping giant, including possible low-level cyber and sleeper activity. So here's the thing, guys. I don't see much of sleeper yet. Sleeper will come at a time where things are bad, like really bad. They're not going to come at a time like this. I believe what happens first is cyber. They're going to completely knock out stuff. And then, once the lights are turned off, once the grid goes, you guys already know that's when the wolves come out. And if the grid is down, I mean, that's going to be big problems. Just imagine a week or 2 weeks and things start to look like purge. There's no law. Everything just completely upside down. That's when sleepers comes out and just make the situation a lot worse. But I don't think sleeper is going to come out. But one thing I tell you, keep your eyes open on the 4th of July. Just saying. I'm a type of person, I'm going to stay home. I don't need to go to no large gathering place. I could watch the fireworks here at home with the young ones. Again, please be safe out there. But something tells me things could go down, possibly large gathering. So please be aware. These sleepers could go cuckoo for Cocoa Puff. Although no specific credible warnings have been confirmed, and ICE have cuffed 15. Wow. So they just cuffed 15. That's crazy. 15 Persians since June 22nd, just recently, one of whom admitted ties to Hezbollah, a sleeping giant designated organization backed by Persia. The question here, why did Joe allow the doors to be open at the southern region for 4 years? Actually, he stopped the construction at the southern. He stopped it. They were almost done. When Donald gave the spotlight to Joe, again, the construction was almost completed until Joe, on his first day, he stopped it and said, no more. Leave the area open. And by the way, it cost $2.5 million a day to keep it open. There was a fine not finishing the construction. $2.5 million a day. Added up in 4 years, added up. Now, who paid for that? It came from the sleeping giant tax money. Joey. 20 plus million came. We could see something. You have the VP, Vance, echoed Donald's concern, blaming Joey for his southern policy for exacerbating the warning. Now, Vance claimed that 1,504 Persians were encountered at the southern during Joe, with 729 released. They just released 729 into the sleeping giants, some allegedly on the watch list. Under Joe, they released 729. The right, you have Senator Mr. Tom, chair of the Senate Intelligence Committee, also warned that Americans have a right to be concerned about Sleeper, pointing to Joe's wide open southern policy as a contributing factor. Good job, Joe. Thank you so much. You kept the doors open and stuff like that. Here's the thing, guys. These people, they don't have to worry. Joe and all those powerful people, they don't have to worry. They got beautiful mansions. They have Secret Service. They have helicopters. They have drones. They have, all that type of stuff. And they live in a gated community. And in that gated community, there's a wall. And then there's another wall and another wall. They have Rottweilers and pit bulls and all that type of stuff. They good. And they have helicopters to get out of Dodge. They good. They don't have to worry about it. See, we live next to 7-Eleven, but there's a lot of graffitis and crazy stuff going on. And again, guys, I'm not trying to be funny here, but again, our neighborhood, well, we are sharing it with millions that came in, and it's not pretty. The warnings have sparked heightened security measures across major sleeping giant cities, with again, you have law enforcement in NY, DC, and LA deploying additional forces to religious, cultural, and diplomatic sites. The agency, the FB, under Director Cash, has intensified surveillance of potential Hezbollah-linked operative, a focus that began earlier in June following Holy Land Operation Rising Lion offensive against Persia. Donald remarks came as he accused Holy Land and Persia of violating a cease plan he brokered on June 23, 2025, intended to de-escalate the biblical war. In a heated rant, Donald used profanity to criticize both nations, stating, "We've got two countries who've been fighting for so long and so hard that they don't know what the beep they're doing." He later urged both sides to adhere to the cease plan, warning against further violation as he departed for a NATO summit in Europe. While the U.S. Commander-in-Chief administration remains on high alert, the leader has expressed reluctance to pursue regime change in Persia, citing potential chaos as a consequence. However, he suggested that a change might be inevitable if Persia leadership fails to make Persia great again, according to the news. Meanwhile, reports indicate that Persia officials are contemplating removing, here we go, the supreme leader from power, with some viewing his tenure as increasingly untenable following the sleeping giant strike. As the situation unfolds, the U.S. Commander-in-Chief warning of Persia sleepers has intensified public concern, with authorities urging vigilance while emphasizing proactive measures to secure the homeland. And like I said, all this started back in 2021 when Donald again gave the spotlight to Joe. And Joe, on his first day, stopped the construction. And 20 plus million came. And like I say, guys, this is a sleeping giant citizens has every right to protect themselves. It's under the Constitution. You have every right. So please be safe out there. If you see something, say something. Like I said, 4th of July, keep your eyes open on all these events, all right? Again, things could hit the fan. Beautiful day. 2001, it was a beautiful day, and a lot of people were not expecting that shocking surprise. And the world was in shock. Everybody was in shock. We cannot forget what happened in that year, because I do believe there's going to be a repeat, but this one here could be a lot worse. Please share the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. For those of you that want to send us letters or prayer requests, you can send it to me, US Santiago, or my wife, Jessica Santiago, at 3432 US Highway 19, number 2, Holiday, Florida, 34691. Once again, guys, $5 a month Patreon. We get you access to our live stream once a week. We talk about things that we cannot talk about on the platform. Also, I posted videos today. Those links will be in the comments box. Thank you so much for watching. God bless you all. Put faith and trust in Jesus Christ, for He's the only way, the truth, and the life. No one gets to the Father except through Jesus. Thank you so much for watching. Till next time later. Peace.